What is up, YouTube? Devin, aka Winterhawk here, bringing you a little solo commentary today. Austin, Wolfman, he's off doing fiance-ish stuff with his fiance, and he wasn't too happy with how this game turned out, so he wasn't too fond on commentating this one in the first place, so I thought I'd fly solo on this one. Just another standard 2v2 game. Bringing you to this one because it shows, I don't know, a good lesson on hatcheries and macro. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna run it at twice speed. Here we go. So as you see, start off, I'm up here in the top 12 o'clock position. Wolfman, Austin's over here in 9 o'clock. 6 o'clock we have red Protoss, and 3 o'clock ish position we have the blue Protoss. So I send my overlord out, nothing too exciting happening. Why don't we speed this up a bit here? Nothing, got a standard pylon into gateway from the red Protoss, the gateway from the blue. Austin, little late with his gateway obviously, I don't know what he was doing over here. I threw my hatchery up at 14, it's pretty standard. Oh, I went in here, speed this down. I went in and built on his gas just because I could. He pops his zealot out. He says, "LOL, you bastard." I thought it was pretty funny. This guy was actually really nice about how the game ended up. Said he was going to add me on friends. Cool guy. You don't run into people who like losing to you too often. So, alright, by now we're at about 4-minute mark. I went for my gas for my speed upgrade on my Zerglings. Really standard build. Me and Austin run every single time. Red Protoss not going for the cybernetics core yet, just pumping out the zealots. He's got 5 up so far. Ooh, blue Protoss went for gate and cybernetics core, almost got that warp. Research underway, building 2 more gateways, a third to go for standard 4-gate build. Understandable. Austin just got his 3rd and 4th gates up along with the cybernetics core and a forge. I'm not sure why he went for a forge here, maybe for upgrades? Let's look at that production tab really fast. Austin, I don't know what he's doing, just making zealots. Anyways, Austin gets attacked, only had 2 zealots up. He doesn't pull back and wait for me to show up, so he loses his zealots, and I don't have enough forces to help him out, so I kind of just waste time until he can get a couple more out and I can help him out. Here we go. Take out these zealots in his base, but blue guy's got a pylon over here, proxy pylon, and we don't notice it because Austin doesn't have a pylon back here, but just goes down. I start my expansion, which is pretty much standard, which actually I'm going to pause it right here and say this. Austin was under attack. We didn't even know about these units yet, but we knew that the blue guy had something, and Austin lost his entire rush army that we usually rush with. So I went for this knowing not only was it going to give me a stronger economy, but I needed the additional larvae. Like if you look, I'm sitting at 800 and 400 on my resources right now with plenty of population. I wasn't making enough larvae, which is always the biggest case for Zerg players. I knew I needed something I needed another hatchery to get more larvae. I wasn't going to be able to help Austin because I can't take on 2 armies on my own. So that's also not mentioning that I had no clue this guy went 4-gate and already had all these stalkers back here. As you can see, 4 in here, at least 2 more on the way. He can get 4 of them at a time, along with whatever the red guy's throwing. Red guy, for some reason, only 2-gate, no cybernetics core. I don't know what this guy was doing, but he was pumping zealots like crazy. And with Austin being that damaged, something had to be done. So this is the start of the lesson on how important this early hatchery is for you Zerg players out there. So we'll get going again. As you can see, Austin just kind of reeling, even though he's got these 4 warp gates. He's throwing out zealots, and they're not warp gates, or they're gateways, not warp gates yet. That research is still coming out. Meanwhile, blue guy just amassing these stalkers out here, miniature stalker army. My goodness. And needless to say, Austin was completely unprepared for this. I mean, look at my forces. 14, 20 Zerglings, something like that. 16 Zerglings. Zealots coming in the front, and at the same time, this happens. I send over what I've got. By this time I've got roaches because I knew something was going to besides zerglings, and Austin gets slaughtered. I mean, my zerglings help out a bit. Roaches come in and try to help, but 4 of them at a time. Neither of us could do something about this at this point. Austin tries to expand, but he doesn't have the resources to expand or get his army up. The pylon's gone, meaning he can't make any more units. We're in trouble. We hold off that first attack, not knowing this pylon's here. He's just going to keep throwing and throwing and throwing these 4 stalkers at a time at us. So, Austin is more or less done for. I'm popping not zealots, wow, roaches as much as I can. Throw up a group, send them in, but Austin throws up a pylon and gets blown up. His workers are gone. He's getting more and more frustrated. As you'll see, he just ends up losing. My roaches outnumber these, more show up, and I'm just like, gosh, where are all these coming from? And it was happening so fast, I really didn't think to pop a pylon down here. I really should have taken these roaches to go do that. Yeah, see, I'm so into getting these hatcheries up, and all these, yeah, and see, he outnumbers me. He says, you should leave his base. I run 1 roach away, that didn't really make a difference. Red shows up here with zealots. I deal with these without too many problems because they didn't coordinate together. And like I said, I don't know what this red guy was doing, but just pumping out zealots off of 2 gateways. He has the cybernetics core and he's not even researching. I don't know. Entry-level player who skipped the practice matches? I don't know, but there's just a giant group of stalkers. And here, let me pause it again. Here is what made the difference. I was able to make these roaches how fast? Because I had this one popping 4 larvae at a time plus the 3 that naturally spawn. On top of this one, I had this not fully saturated, but if you look, I've got almost 1,400 minerals, 1,300 gas. My biggest obstacle right now is the number of roaches I can make and my supply cap. This Protoss player being on 1 base, yeah, he can warp in 4 stalkers at a time, but he's running off 1 base, and if you look right here at 14 minutes, he's almost mined out. I mean, you got 500 there, 300. He's gone through a majority of his minerals already, and he's not mining off more than 1 base, and he didn't build any more gateways. If he would have expanded earlier, see, he's got the probe sitting here, but he's not doing anything with it. If he would have expanded earlier, maybe thrown up a gate or 2 more, he would have done something. Austin, by this point, had left, I think, and well, no, I'm not sure. When Austin left, I ended up trying to take his workers and just mine myself some extra resources while I could, because I knew that expansion was going to fall. So we're going to get it going again, and I knew Austin was out. There was no point. I just was going to use his base what I could and macro up those roaches because, well, they're really good stalker counters. So you see, I didn't really worry about the gas at this point because I needed way more minerals than gas. Roaches being 75 and 25. He comes in, attacks me. He warps in more, comes in, attacks me, warps in more. He says, oh, nice army. His partner actually ended up timing out, which you can't see in the replay, but we both get really pissed because of so much lag going on. If you look, actually, oh, I guess the blue player did end up using his player's base, but he comments to me saying, oh god, come look at his base. So I actually run in there with all my roaches and check it out. This guy had nothing going on. He didn't research the warp gates. He only had 2 gates going. He didn't build that many workers. I guess he's just really new to Starcraft or something. But it came basically down to a 1v1 match. All my roaches against all his stalkers, and he didn't amass them. He'd warp in, like 15, 20 of them come attack, and I was outnumbering him with roaches. And you can see even, you click on me, I'm up to 1,700 minerals, 1,000 gas. With all these roaches being so mineral intensive and so not emphasizing on gas, I actually even throw up a 3rd hatchery, and this is where the key comes in of macro. As you can see, I get another queen coming out here. That's 3 bases, that's 12 larvae every larva cast or whatever it's called, spawn larva. So each queen casts spawn larva on each of these hatcheries. That's 12 larvae at a time plus the 3 they naturally spawn, so 21? Am I doing that correctly? 3 times? Yeah, 21 larvae at a time I can make into roaches. Whereas he probably, in that time it takes me to make those 21 roaches, he might be able to make 15 stalkers, and that's what he focused on. He didn't tech up to anything else. He just went the 4-gate, no tech. And that's about it. I mean, I just outnumbered him, and since I think they're armored units. Are they considered armored? Yeah, armored and mechanical. Roaches ripped through those armored units, and I just outnumbered him, which is what ends up being the case. We'll finish off watching this gameplay. So I just keep going, and at this point I actually wasn't sure what he had, so I believe I end up throwing out 2, oh gosh, what are they even called? Not a Hydralisk down, I'm not sure why that went down. I want to select a worker, darn it. Evolution chambers, there they go. Just for upgrades, because I've noticed upgrades too. If you're new to Starcraft, pay attention to getting at least 1 evolution chamber down. Since the upgrades take so long to do, you're not losing that many resources, and they make a big difference. As you can see, right now, Stalker Army just running around taking out the rest of Austin's stuff, while I just amass a giant group of roaches. I actually think, I'm not sure if I maxed out or not, but I probably ran in there with 60 to 70 roaches. At this point, there goes my roach army. I didn't have any upgrades yet, actually. They were working, but went in here and mopped up what he had right here. I believe he actually says GG right now. Yep, GG, LOL, too many roaches. And that's really the thing. I just out-macroed him because he did not expand fast enough, didn't get enough workers. He thought this early harass would kick both of us out of this game, but I was persistent. That's what you got to do. Even if your partner leaves, if your partner's not doing his best, you got to try your best. Because this is probably Austin and I's 3rd or 4th game where one of us dumped out because we got attacked early and just left, and the other one stayed in and actually held off both players. So you see, he tells me, I didn't change the red guy's base at all, go check it out. This is all the red guy had the entire game. So I make short work of it. No 4-gate or anything, 2 gates and a few probes. I'm not sure what that, it was almost like a crappy computer player or something. Maybe he played against an easy computer and thought that's how the game ran or something. I'm not really sure. But I run over here, and all he's got left are zealots because he has no gas. Didn't get either of those gases going at his expansion. I wipe him out, and that's game. He leaves, and that's game. So I just wanted to give this little solo commentary real fast, show you guys the importance, especially if you're a Zerg player, of getting that early hatchery up if you can. If you're not cheesed to death and you have the extra resources, throw that extra hatchery down, whether it's add an expansion like this or if it's even, you know, just a proxy inside your main base, because the amount, that extra larva, if you got resources sitting around, they're not doing anything for you. So get that extra hatchery out, get more units up, and it might make a difference just like this game did. So hope you guys enjoyed. Be back with more videos soon. Peace out.